Is the approval of the October meeting minutes. I have a motion, if everyone's looked over them.
I'll motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Public comments. Doesn't look like there's anyone for that, correct?
No, sir.
Okay. So the next item is an update on the regional parks project.
All right, greetings, Commission. So tonight I have Jason Ledden here from Snyder and Associates. If you'll remember, Snyder and Associates was awarded Phase 1 of the Regional Park Project when we went out for RFP. I've been working with Jason Ledden. He's the project manager that Snyder has given us, and I asked him to come up tonight and kind of give you guys a little update on where we've been since they received the project. And if you guys have any questions, you can hear it straight from the horse's mouth. So here's Jason Ledden, you guys.
Thanks, as Jason said, Jason Ledden with Snyder & Associates. Happy to be here. Appreciate y'all letting me come up and kind of got a little presentation pulled together here on kind of an update of where we're at in the process on the regional park project. So kind of where this project started, as you're all familiar with, this is the master plan that the city had come up with for this whole regional park area. As you know, Phase 1 is kind of that orange line, which is the trail connection. From the east up to the county trail on the north side. Everything kind of north and east of that orange line is kind of this Phase 1, but not including that playground in there. So kind of the U19 fields, U12 fields, and that parking lot in the big picture of things. So kind of where we are now in the current phase of this plan, of the park plan, is the parking lot has changed a little bit in kind of layout and location from the master plan. What we've kind of created here is we've created kind of a drive through the parking lot where you're not driving through the parking stalls, but it's kind of almost acts like a little bit of a street. It gives separation to the parking from the vehicles coming into the park. What that does is that kind of helps the backup of traffic and the flow of traffic coming in and out of the park. As anybody who's been to a park like this knows, people are getting out, dropping stuff off, dropping kids off, dropping grandma and grandpa off. This kind of helps allow that traffic to be within the parking field and off this road so that this road can continue to have traffic. Now, in this Phase 1 plan, it doesn't continue to the north quite yet. So, you won't have a ton of that traffic on that road. Everybody should be coming into this parking lot. But we're trying to think long-term here and know that as this becomes more of a regional thing, we want to keep people off that road and backing that up. Another part of this, and I don't know, plan is also we've added a drop-off area for that fits roughly 3 vehicles. You'll kind of see it just to the southwest of that water tower there. So what this is for anybody who has, a lot of times when you have tournaments and events, people have tents that they want to set up for their teams in these facilities. So somebody wants to come up, drop off all their equipment, drop their team off. That kind of allows this area for folks to be dropped off and not back up and take up space within the parking area. Also, if parking becomes a really big concern, this can be used as parking stalls as well, and you could fit 3 vehicles in there. As part of that, you can kind of see the trail alignment has kind of been in the same location, but it bumps out to the south of that south parking field there. So that south parking field, we felt with the future amenities that are going to be on that south side with the dog park, potential splash pad, other amenity space on there, we thought it'd be a good idea to have a field off of that drive as well. Because if you have little kids like mine, the second they get out of the car, they take off and go for that splash pad, right? So this parking field allows us to have somewhere for these folks to park, and then they aren't crossing this road or having multiple crossings through this drive through here, and it allows them to kind of go to that designated area. So this parking field kind of gets designated for that amenity space to the south, while the majority of the soccer parking is there on the north. We do kind of have a larger trail connection through the center that goes to the building, which is kind of that shape, that L shape there in the middle, which is this building. So we've got the main connection that connects these 2 nodes together. And then we also have another connection on the east side of the water tower that has one less crossing if people want to not have to go through the parking lot. So that main trail connection in the middle does go through the island and provides protection, so folks have areas to be protected from traffic there as well. So as I mentioned, there in the middle is kind of the building with the trail spaces and the pavement spaces around there. the kind of semicircle or three-quarter circle there off to the west. The plan there is that's where that future playground space is planned to be. We would not anticipate that being paved as part of this project. We just wanted to make sure we save an area for that playground, that we have enough space to provide for the playground space. So we are showing it looks like pavement in this exhibit, but it would not be paved as part of this project. That would be grass as well. So kind of a summary of this layout. This layout does provide 247 total parking spaces in this phase. That's roughly 3 short of what the concept had at 250. It provides 3 U19 and 3 U12 irrigated soccer fields. That meets the soccer specifications. It includes the trail connection of the existing trail that was built to the west, and then we'll tie into the future Polk County Trail there on the north. Includes the completion of the 7th Street across the entire property, from the existing 7th Street connection today to the future 7th Street connection on the south. And then it includes a restroom building with shell space for concessions and a shade structure. Before I go any further, are there any questions on kind of this overall site layout, kind of what we've looked at?
Can you explain the buildings a little bit? What am I seeing here on this plan? You said a concession shell and then restrooms.
Getting into that next.
Okay, sounds good. I'll be patient.
I'll show you some imagery there too. Yeah, go ahead.
With 7th Street, I can't remember, is there going to be parking available in the street, along the street on 7th?
I think we engineered for it to be at least one side parking. I think the mayor really wants it to be available for parking on both sides.
It is wide enough for that.
Yeah. I'm just concerned if everyone's playing on every field and there's 1 car per family, you got about 120 car, what is it? It looks like when games are ending and games are starting, it looks
Sure.
like there's gonna be a big traffic jam.
Sure. And that's definitely, at a lot of these facilities, that's always the time that we see issues of coming in and coming out. And that's why we feel like this private drive with the parking off helps alleviate that a little bit. Because yeah, you have the backing in and pulling in separate from the incoming traffic. The street could also has a little bit of additional right of way in the parkway, that additional on-street parking, parallel parking could be added there as well. We feel in our experience that around this 250 is kind of what's needed for a facility like this. Because I agree, a lot of times it's everyone's coming in their own vehicle. You also have grandparents coming and visiting. But with the different size fields and the different game lengths, we feel that kind of helps this transition period with a facility like this.
And if I could throw something else too, I think we're gonna have a much more pointed scheduling than ever before to make sure that, no, not all 6 are going on simultaneously, so that we're not our own worst enemy. I think there's also an opportunity, just to the west, there's the school property, that on high peak times, especially on the weekend, we do have a few more that are a short walk away, but I think more than anything, proper scheduling here will allow that 247 it should hit the spot.
I'll put on my United Soccer Club hat as well and tell you that we don't have enough adult refs to be able to staff running all those fields at the same time.
Is you show the baseball field, is that gonna be grassed when you do all the other, or is that just the future, just showing where it's future gonna be?
Sure. So this space that's shown on here, that is a practice quad. So there's one similar out at Triumph Park in Waukee. What it is it'll be an infield mix and it'll be a crosshatch of fencing. So it allows for infield practice. Infield practice is a really hard space to find. It's really easy to go find an open green area to do fly balls, but finding infield space where you can do grounders is difficult. So that's kind of what this space is gonna be. I will mention here too, you'll kind of see there's dashed lines around each of those soccer fields. What we plan on is that's a 10-foot wide flatter surface area for the teams and the spectators. It seems like a lot of times these fields get so pinched back to back that you're sitting with your chair back to somebody else. So we've really planned on having that space that you can still walk between the fields and have the spectators on one side and the teams on the other, and try and minimize that intermixing there as well. So we've planned on that here. I haven't forgot about your building questions. So this is kind of the floor plan of the proposed building space that we've been working with Ask Studio Architecture on. So in this picture on the right is the restroom facility, which would be fully built out as part of this first phase. In the middle there's kind of a circle, which is going to act kind of like a skylight to let some natural light come into this building. And then that north-south vertical element is a wall. There's been some back and forth on that potentially being a donor wall element. It'll also act as kind of a screen wall. As you work your way to the left of the picture, kind of the picnic table area space there is intended to be gathering space for the concession building. So that concession building is that more rectangular shape that would just be a shell today, unfinished interior space that could be used as storage. And the concession would look north, so the concession serving area would look north. And we found a lot of feedback we get in these concession buildings is it's a hard finding volunteers to work the concessions. So we've liked this to face north so that it allows parents to watch their player play out on the fields to the north and still be in that concession facility to hopefully help encourage more volunteers to work in those concession buildings. Continuing to work your way to the left, you can kind of see those 6 dots there. What that is those are columns, and that is an overhang that is going to provide significant shade to this facility. Another feedback we get a lot on these parks, especially when they're first built, is there is no shade. Because when you're putting those trees in, they're going to look great in 10, 15, 20 years and have plenty of shade. But first off, you don't have a lot of shade to start with. So what we've really taken into account here is we're providing some shade space, not only for the soccer players, but also as you think future-wise, that playground is going to be just off to the northwest there. Also, kids and folks playing at that playground, kind of you're going to go between this concession, that playground, and those fields, and kind of providing a gathering space for all of this area in this location. So if you can imagine yourself, you pull into the park, you park in the parking lot, and as you look north to go towards the soccer fields, this is what you're going to see coming out of that parking lot. Again, off to the right is that restroom facility. Off to the left is that concession with kind of that wall in between separating the spaces. We really wanted, in hearing from staff, we really wanted to keep those spaces separate so you don't have restroom traffic and concession traffic kind of crossing back and forth. So that wall is kind of intended to screen those two facilities. Then as you walk through this building and you get out towards the soccer fields and you look back towards the parking lot to go back to your car, this is kind of the view you'll see. Right, there is kind of a wall shown there in the middle. We're finding a new home for that. That's going to kind of be a field map. You know, that's the next question everybody asks when they get to the field is, what field am I on and where do I go to get there? We're going to find a home for that and some potential flagpoles in this area. But as you can see, you can kind of see that concession window there that kind of is going to overlook the facility. So hopefully, again, we can generate some more interest in volunteers getting into there.
Now, when you said it's just gonna be a shell and you can use it for storage, could you still use it though for concessions? As long as you obviously can't be cooking anything, but you could have chips and water bottles and stuff. Could you do that out of that facility at that point?
Correct. Yep. It'll just be concrete shell. There'll be no shelving or any other amenities in that space at this time. So then this is kind of, I believe it's called a cafe look, where that overhangs that concession window, again, providing some more shade and shelter from the elements if you go up to that concession window as you're pulling out. And then those tables kind of in the background there. And then this is kind of with your back towards the restroom facility, looking towards the concession building in the seating area. And on the top there, that's where you can kind of see that skylight to let in some natural light into this facility. And then that wall kind of in the middle to separate that space, but still have interaction within that whole building.
Would there eventually be seating on that whole other half of the concession building that's covered? So
It could be.
So that's just left open for whatever people want to do.
Correct. So it would be covered concrete slab space.
Right.
So if it's in the parks budget, they could potentially provide more picnic tables or however Parks sees fit. These picnic tables, we show quite a few in this area, could be moved around in that area if needed to.
Could this potentially be a shelter that parks could run out to when there's not games going on?
Yeah, that was something we thought of. This would be a pretty cool placemaking area where we could see people wanting to rent it.
We've really tried to create a gathering space, kind of make it a central location where you could say, hey, team, go meet us here. And then, all the teams gather there and get their snacks between games for tournaments or meet grandparents or parents at this location, so. Rather than saying, meet me at the bathrooms. Any other questions on that, on the building at all? Great. So the big question, cost, kind of where are we at on the cost wise of things? So the original Northeast 7th Street and Trail budget was $1.7 million. We have completed a schematic cost estimate with this layout roughly and have that estimated at about roughly 1.3 million. And then phase 1 of the park was budgeted for roughly 3.2 million, and our schematic estimate at this point in time is roughly 3.8. So the total original budget was 4.9, and our schematic is roughly at 5.1. So we understand that's about $200,000 over the budget. So as we continue to refine our design, we are working this week to get a refined budget to Jason and staff and his team that provides more details. At this point, we're kind of looking at big picture items, making sure we get big dollar items on the schematic budget, taking some stabs at some things. So our team is really refining our pencils, sharpening our pencils this week to really hone in on this budget and get a better understanding of a total budget there. However, we feel that this is within a range that we think we are still in the parks budget for this project. Questions with
Does this
that?
include the baseball quad? Or was that separate? Okay.
It does include that baseball quad as part of that.
Does the budget include, you were talking about trees, does it include trees now, or would that be something that, the community, like the Arbor League could start working on, raising some money for trees, or are trees in the budget?
Yeah. So this budget includes kind of what I'd say site plan landscaping to shade the parking lot and the paved areas, similar to other site plans in the community, other commercial facilities, but pretty minimal at that point. So if there wanted to be more shade spread or trees, planting spread throughout the park, I think it'd be a great opportunity to.
Would the plan show where future trees can be planted so that you have a schematic out there that okay, that if we raise $500, this will be, a tree that can go here, or, so it's not hit and miss?
Yeah, we can absolutely provide that.
Okay, good.
And so that it kind of makes sense. The last thing you want is kind of a tree that's off in a corner that you want people to see it, right?
Yeah.
You want it to be viable.
In the original plan for the larger park, there was plans to put at least the infrastructure and all in for lights and everything, electricity, to run electricity for fields. Is that included in this as well? Not actually putting lights or anything, but at least having, the underground conduit and things like that in there?
So at this time, what we've planned on is electricity to the concession restroom facility to power lights out to the field. And as part of this next budgeting phase, we're planning on conduits to the fields to at least light the U19 fields, not the U12. So that would be the 3 larger fields, not the smaller fields. And to kind of touch base on those utilities, this plan does include stubbing of utilities to the east for the future baseball fields, to the south for the future splash pad and softball fields as well. So what we're really trying to do is plan for the future as well and make sure that we don't want to tear up brand new concrete or anything like that, so. This budget does include, Jason had asked us to look at, this budget does include a pump from the stormwater basin on the south side to use as the main irrigation source for these fields, and then use domestic water in high demand times or times of drought. So that is included in this budget as well.
Those ponds have already been developed as part of the rough grading package that's been done, right?
Correct, those ponds are already constructed, yep. And the capacity on those ponds is there to be able to service for the irrigation for these facilities. So I should mention, all these fields, all 6 of these fields are intended to be grass with irrigation on them.
And is the goal to still have them being able to be played on in 27 or 28?
Got that next slide for you next.
Right.
So our proposed schedule at this point, right now targeting January of 2026 to present to the Planning and Zoning and City Council the full plans that would be sent out to bid to get bid numbers on. With a bid period of February of 26, we plan on using most of the month of February to get bids, gather bids. Right now it seems to be a good bidding climate, and February is a good time to get folks ready for the spring so that they can get going early on in the spring. And then we would have an early March bid opening date with council, pending all numbers, with a April 2026 construction start, roughly early April, depending on, how spring. Sometimes it can be really rainy, sometimes it can be gorgeous in mid-March, but we'd anticipate April 1st getting on the ground, with a final completion of the fields ready to play on in the fall of 2027. And that time allows the grass to get a good root hold on it, get a good growing season in, you get a winter on it, so that you can see if you have any potential problem areas and get good grass growth. One of the biggest things is getting on fields too soon. Everybody wants to get on them, they see grass growing, they want to get on them right away. We really like to get a good one whole growing season on that so that it's healthy and viable long-term, so that you aren't fighting maintenance in the future.
Does the bid include any type of security system in terms of cameras, so that particularly during that period that there's no one using it? It's going to be pretty desolate out there.
At this point, it does not, but that is on our list of things that we are exploring for this next cost to get an idea on. Happy to answer any other questions anybody might have.
Anything else?
Thank you.
Thank you, Jason.
We're excited. We think it's going to be a great amenity for the community and looking forward to keeping things moving.
Thank you. All right, I guess our next item is Jason. Whoops, Allison, with Winter Spring 2026 Program Guide.
Get this hooked up real quick. All right, is that viewable to all of you? Yep. Wonderful. All right. Get that to full screen. All right, so we just kind of wanted to go over our latest brochure, kind of what went into it, some new things to highlight. And with that knowledge, one thing that we have come across is that the software we use to create all of our brochures is being discontinued in 2026. So we need to shift gears to a different software. So kind of taking a peek at what summer of 2026 might look like, some tweaks, some changes, things like that. and just getting eyes on that in advance. So, kicking off with our current one, this has been the same for the past few brochures, kind of creating that standard of what things look like. A lot of this you'll see in the summer one coming up. But a few things we wanted to kind of look at that are new. We have the Pre-K Play Day, which is a collaboration with the library here in town, just to offer a open gym play space, a free program for parents and their little tots to come and play on some gym equipment, things like that here in this room. So looking for more ways to activate this space that we're currently in. And that would include purchasing some fun, tactile things that they can play on, just to get them active, and give a space for them to come indoors to play when the weather is too hot or too cold. So we're just kind of going to test out how it is, attendance-wise, and see what the need is there. So we have a few dates on the schedule. We're looking at every fourth Friday of the month, and just seeing what that response is and alter it as we need. But just wanted to highlight that. Right below that, we have a little description of what is Start Smart. That's a very popular program we've been running for a while for our preschoolers. So we have soccer, baseball, we're starting basketball tomorrow, we have football, and we've seen a lot of positive response from that. So we just kind of wanted to go a little bit deeper and explain more of the basics behind it, the background of it, and why we really like offering this program, just to give a little bit more insight to those parents and people who haven't used the program yet, just to kind of see what they could possibly get into. So there's a few things on that. Of course, it is basketball season. This is one of our most popular programs, if not the most popular program we have the entire year. So we've got our Dinky Dunkers and our Youth Basketball League, boys and girls for both. Right now, we have the youth boys at 34 registrations. We've still got it open for a little bit longer, so excited to see how those numbers climb. So that's the highest one. The other ones are shortly behind it. So good to see those numbers. And of course, we have our Iowa Wolves Day, which will be exciting as well. Going on to our next page, one thing that we kind of wanted to highlight was kind of looking into new partnerships. So we've been speaking with Lindsay here about different collaborations we can do with Polk County Conservation. Since they're such a close and amazing resource to have, we'd love to just kind of dig into that a little bit more. Look at things that we can offer outside of athletics and camps and things like that. What are we missing? What do we not have right now? And so kind of that outdoor component is something we're excited to tap into, and we have more ideas on the horizon as we look into the summer, warmer weather, things like that. So we're offering that spring break trip for some older kids to go out to Jester Park, to their outdoor recreation and wellness center. So we're excited to see the response there and see if that's something that we get to continue every single year based off of that feedback there. Next page, we partnered with Bricks for Kids for quite a while, and something that we are really excited to tap into is Monday Fun Day Lego workshops. Since the North Polk School District has no school every first Monday of the month, we wondered if that's something that we can really tap into. And so we came up with offering a half-day workshop for those kids to come and play with Legos with different themes and things like that. We really wanted to offer something for parents looking for places to send their kids on no school days because they don't get no work days, unfortunately, coinciding with that. So we're really excited. We've already gotten several registrations for our first January date. That'll be here before we know it, but we're really excited to see the response there and just provide more of a service to the community for places to go when there's not school operating, somewhere warm and inside as well. We're excited to offer that. Moving forward, one of our new programs has been Rise and Grind with Angie. We've seen a really good response. We maxed out our first month of registration. We started it at 24, bumped it up to 26. So we've seen really good responses there. She's adding a restorative stretching class on Sundays. So we're offering that starting in January. So we're really excited to see how that expands and grows there. women's self-defense class. This is a new thing that I kind of conceptualized, something that I had experienced when I was in high school, and I thought that it could be a good partnership for our police department and us to kind of collaborate on. So we have had conversations with the police department, and we already have some officers lined up to give tips and tricks for staying safe and having some defense tactics in your back pocket, just to be safe. Maybe kids are heading off to college soon. They'll be in a new, unfamiliar environment, and this might just help provide a little bit more security as they take on something new and unfamiliar. This will be free, of course. The police felt that it was really a service, something that they wanted to provide to the community. We agreed. So excited to see what the response is there, and the police have already spoken about making it an annual program if it's something that the community really likes. So excited to continue that partnership, hopefully in the future. We've got some senior trips, of course. We have Polk coming back by popular demand. We had a good response to it the last time we offered, and they wanted to see it again, so we're doing that again. We have our Christ Kindle Market coming up. Let's see, next Friday is when we're heading down there, and we've reached 11 registrants, which is almost to our max of 13 that we can take in our city van. That's the most registrations we've had for a senior program, so we're really excited about that, and hope that it just continues on that trend. So yeah, super happy about that. Another new thing is our Hearts and Cards bingo night. We did purchase a bingo set for RVTV, and so we wanted to activate that in more ways, and looking at something that we haven't provided for is more family programs instead of limiting it to special events that the whole family can come to. So we'll have this space activated again for a bingo night, just, candy bar prizes, things like that, just to provide some fun things around the holidays for families to do together. This parks page is new. I just wanted to kind of highlight if people were unaware of where our parks are. They might be tucked back in a neighborhood they're unfamiliar with. Just kind of show them where they all are, what amenities they have, just so that we hopefully boost more awareness. I'd love to include more pictures in the future when we have those resources available and a good way to display them. But this is a start that we have, and we'll kind of see that hopefully evolve in the future. So that kind of finishes up the things I wanted to highlight. Of course, we have our rentals, Polk City Friends of the Park, community recreation, things like that. Ice rink, of course, people are excited for, and then our Fall Fest highlights, just to kind of show some fun things that have recently happened, and hopefully get them excited for upcoming special events. And then to take a glimpse at summer, since we are switching software, like I said, I just wanted to kind of give an overview of what we're kind of looking at. We wanted to really create brand standards so all of our brochures continue looking the same. It's recognizable. People know what it is. When they see the colors, they know it's the autumn brochure or the winter one. So they just get into that headspace, they recognize it, and they know it. I've messed around with a few different cover designs. Here's one option, just to bring around the feelings of summer, of course. Love the florals there for sure. And then just an alternative cover option that we're kind of looking into. And then beyond that, I've just created a template that we can just copy this and change the colors to be in accordance with the season, and just have blank spaces for each season's programs that they bring. And so those are just some different templates to fill in different programs, external programs. There's that parks page. It's the same information, just a slightly different layout, showing one of our newer parks, of course. Space rentals, pretty much the same, just a little bit altered since it's a different software. Friends of the Parks, community recreation. And then the other space, it would just depend on what season it is and what we fill there. So kind of a question that we wanted to bring to you is, seeing what we've kind of looked at for the summer, do you feel like there's anything missing? Is there anything that you wish was available, resources you wish people would know more about, things that you wish you knew more about, just to make sure our brochure is well-rounded and gives the people what they're looking for? So if you have any suggestions, we are all ears.
Have you, particularly with the expansion, considered putting in a trails map of Polk City where it shows the neighborhoods and the spurs. And what brings that to light, this past fall, when the colors were changing, I ride the Big Creek Trail all the time, and I made a comment to my wife that she should go walk where the wooden bridges are through and she says, well, how do I connect to that? And I could explain it in my mind how to do that, but it would have been nice to be able to have a trail map or a Polk City map that I could show her that she goes to this neighborhood and that she could park her car and walk, connect to the trail like that. And now that we're getting so many spurs, I think it would be nice for the community to know that. And,
Yeah. I like that, thank you.
and I've also, Jason, I think I put you in on this email, the Bike Collective, they print out a Polk City or Polk County trail map. And they said as soon as that we have the connection from the trailhead up to the Threshold Trail, they would include, because right now when you look at that map, it just shows a desert. It shows Polk City and it doesn't show any connections at all. And they said that as soon as that's updated, if we could get them an updated PDF, they would update their map that they put out for the Polk County trail map that they put out every year.
Thank you.
I was thinking of a map as well, mainly like, I love you've got this insert now that here's all of the parks we have in town. And because I'm visual in a way that a map with the little, this is where Marina Cove is, and this is where Lost Lakes is, and this is, to me, that's easier than, okay, where would 504 North Broadway Street be?
Yeah. Yeah,
As someone who lives here anyway.
thank you. Any other comments or suggestions?
I think it looks great.
All right, thank you very
Doing a
much.
good job.
Thank you.
All right, next item on the agenda is to nominate a chairperson for 2026. That means you're gonna have this job right here. Do we have any nominations or volunteers?
Start with volunteers, see if anyone's interested.
Anyone interested in becoming the chairperson this year?
I nominate Darren. Oh,
Any other nominations? So. Jaron, would you accept that nomination?
Yeah, I accept the nomination.
All right. Do we need to vote then? Is that? Oh, all in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right. Any opposed? Besides Darren.
Abstain.
Okay, next item is to nominate the vice chairperson. Is there any volunteers?
Nominate Gail. You've been here long enough.
Any other nominations besides Gail? And Gail, do you accept that nomination?
I abstain. Present. No, yes, I accept.
All right, so for the vice chairperson, Gail, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Anyone no? No? Okay. So I guess we're done with that. And now Jason with director's report.
I like these meetings where I don't have to talk as much. This is really nice. No, I just have a few things that I want to put on your guys' radar. The last time we met in October, I had not given you a Fall Fest attendance estimate yet. We just hadn't gotten that data. But happy to announce it was about 2,200 people. That makes it our second largest. So that was our fifth Fall Fest, starting in 21. 22 is our high year. We had 2,400. So this is the second time we've eclipsed 2,000 people. So really happy with this past year. And it was hot. It didn't feel like fall, but the people still came. So that was great. And so, thank you for everybody that was involved with that. You might have noticed some things on the square look a little different the past couple of weeks. The totem pole that is on the corner that came out of the derecho, we have removed it for safety concerns. The base was rotting severely. The structure still remains. Its future is to be determined at this point, but we were able to lop it off right where it met the base that still contained all the bark of the original tree. There is a little bit of rot that had went from the base up into the actual structure, so we're looking ways to solidify that so that it is not something that will continue on. The fact that it's out of the elements now, it's doing much better. It's very, it's happy, but we need to find out where its retirement is now. So that's happening, and we replaced the spire on the bandstand recently. Don't know if you noticed, but it's, you never know how weathered wood is until you replace it with new wood. So it's looking good. We did a little bit different. We did introduce a little bit of copper sheeting to help just avoid kind of where that structure meets the bandstand, to help just shed water a little bit more effectively than it has in the past. So I don't think if I would have told you, I don't know that you would have noticed. It's very similar in color to the current wood. So there's that as well. So just in time for Light Up Polk City, which is this Friday. So I hope to see you guys all there. The festivities start at 6 o'clock when the mayor will flip the switch and the square will be lit up for the first time for the whole month of December. And activities around the square, businesses, the Legion, Santa will be right here in this building. It all wraps up at about 8 o'clock this Friday night. And it's going to actually feel like winter. It's going to look like winter, evidently. So it should be a good year. And then I guess one more thing, I just want to give kudos to Allison. She's done a lot of work on our brochures. And if you guys ever want to, actually this would be a really fun game. I want to show you guys covers going back in time, and I want you to figure out which was Allison's first one and what was Jason's last one. The difference is stark. So she's doing a really good job with that. And that's all I've got for you tonight.
Jason.
All right, reports and particulars. Nick, you have anything?
Oh, I've got a couple things for you. First up, we have one new city council member and one returning city council member coming on to replace Jeff Walters and Mandy Vogel, who have stepped down. Dave Vorak's coming back to council. And James Hill is coming on to council after he is done with his stint on the school board. We're getting our new ambulance and fire truck this week. Those should be delivered on the 4th, and I'm hoping we're gonna have them out and on display for Light Up Polk City, so everybody can see the shiny new toys. I don't know if we had talked about all the painting and renovations that have been done to the schoolhouse at our last meeting, but to go beyond that, we have approved taking off the north side lean-to, and we're actually going to do that in-house with Public Works as part of their downtime this winter. We got a $100,000 REAP grant, Resource Enrichment and Protection grant, to help us construct a multi-use trail along 3rd Street from here down to Bridge Road. That's in conjunction with another $450,000 we got from TAP, Transport Alternatives Program. So we've got most of that project covered as far as costs go. Finalize the loans for the municipal park, which is why Jason was here tonight. And that's really the bulk of what I've got for you guys.
So will we get a new liaison? Is this an annual change?
It's
So
supposed
the
to be,
next,
but you get to keep me because Steve wants me to stay here.
oh, yay. So you'll have one more year.
Yep, I'll be here
Okay.
for at least another year.
Any other questions for Nick? Is there anyone else? I don't think-
I'd like to piggyback, Jason, for the thought about the trees, for the regional park. when we did the school I was principal at, we did a total remodel, and when we had the architect draw up where we wanted trees and bushes, but it wasn't in the plan because it was a bare bones plan. But we put that out to parents, and we had all the trees and bushes paid for by memorials and donations. And so I would encourage that we do the same thing in terms of, and that we actually have a price set out there. Let's say that if someone wants to buy a tree as a memorial, that it'll cost them $1,000 or I know Urbandale does the same thing with the Charles Gabus Tree Farm, where they have it set out that they know what trees they want to plant or bushes they want to plant, and then organizations and individuals can do that, and it might speed up the process of the plantings out there if we have the plan in front of us and then put it out to the community that this is an opportunity for you to help out with that. If that's possible or something that you want to look into, I would suggest it.
Is our current memorial program run through parks or is it run through our building?
It's through the Friends of the Park.
Through Friends of Parks? Okay.
Yeah, so we do have a tribute tree program in town that the Friends of the Parks nonprofit currently orchestrate. So yeah, I mean, we could definitely.
Piggyback.
Yeah, absolutely. It'd be a great way to get some trees out there a lot quicker.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Any other items?
I'd like to share with the commission my news, Jason, if that's okay before we adjourn. I'm going to be on maternity leave starting February. So just wanted to let everybody know, should be gone for a couple months, but I will be back.
Congratulations.
Wow.
Thank you.
Exciting.
All right, anyone want to try to top that one?
It's a good way to end.
All right, so need a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Hi.
All right, we are done.